guys, welcome back. This video is all about my Hamta Pass trek that I did in September 2017. So, we reached Manali around 7 or 7:30 p.m. and checked into our hotel. It was a cottage-like room with stairs and a balcony floor upstairs provided with 2 beds that could occupy 4 people. I can see my Prince of Greece standing down below. This was the view from our room's balcony. It was raining heavily since last afternoon and early morning as well, and we were really worried about the trek. But finally the sun came out and we were all set to go. Prince of Greece is all ready and we are all nervous, but we know we can do it. So we are now going downstairs to go to our pickup location, that's in Keelinga Inn, where India Hikes will pick us up, and then we'll go to Jora campsite, which is the first stop. It's an easy day today, it's not much. We'll just have a trek for half an hour maybe and we'll enjoy. Hey guys, so I'm all set. The India Hikes team is all here and we are now going to sit in these cars and go to the first campsite, which is a trek, and that trek is for half an hour only, and it's a small trek. It's an easy day today. So yeah, so I think we have 4 cars. These are all sumo cars, and there's one camper which has the backpacks, all of the backpacks inside. So yeah, we are all set. I'm really excited. It's an easy day. We'll have a lot of fun. So we'll see you on the campsite now. Bye. The cars were driving on a very rough road and we went through approximately 37 curves. Some of them were really tricky and dangerous. The weather was changing again, but we were really excited. So we have reached the place, the spot where we are going to start our trek, and we are going to trek to Jora, and this is the view from where we are starting. It's drizzling here. It has started raining terribly and we are actually standing in this kind of a camp kind of a structure and wearing a poncho, raincoat and everything. It's raining too heavily now. We haven't started our trek yet because we cannot do the trek in this heavy rain, because we will certainly get wet even with our ponchos and raincoat. So we are staying here and waiting to get the weather a little bit better, the rain to slow down and maybe a little bit of drizzling so that we can start our trek. Just hear the sound, it's so loud. The rain is too strong, too heavy. This was the morning view of our first campsite, Jora. You must be wondering what happened to that trek in the rain. Well, the rain stopped, but we trekked in the most mushy and muddy trail ever. We were struggling not to slip and fall, so filming was the last thing on my mind. Anyway, Jora is at the altitude of 9,800 feet and our campsite was beautiful. The camp was comfortable, but it was pretty cold out there. We had the luxury of wet toilets at our first campsite. We were supposed to follow a 6-7-8 routine, which means that at 6 a.m. there will be some tea, 7 a.m. breakfast, and by 8 a.m. we leave. The trek started, but unfortunately I had a pretty bad stomachache that day, and on top of that I was carrying my backpack that was around 8 kgs I guess, roughly. So it really slowed me down. The good part was that it was a bright sunny day and my friends and the trek leader Nikhil were quite supportive. Hey guys, so we have taken a halt here in a location somewhere around the trail, middle of the trail, and it's very sunny and it's very hot as well now. So yeah, the view is gorgeous as you can see behind me. So that is a beautiful view behind me. Can you see that? It's so beautiful, and this is river and the other trekkers. And yes, we'll be off again, and yeah, I'm trying to do my best here today. So let's see. At this point, we were halfway to Jwara, our next campsite, and if you can see those snow-capped mountains, you will notice a black pillar-like structure. If I remember correctly, it was called Indra Pillar. The trail offered us some really beautiful scenic views and lush green meadows and the lovely river stream.
That's Rajan and Akhilesh, and that is Supreet. Yeah, the whole team is now resting, taking some water and chatting, gossiping, and I'm gonna rest too.
We were informed that there would be 2 river crossings in this trek. The first one was this day between Jobra to Jwara. This river that you see was the one that we had to cross. Now it looks very small, but don't go by that because the current was pretty strong. We had to fold our pants up, remove our shoes and socks, tie them onto our bags, hold hands in a line and then cross. The water was freezing cold and the short stretch was enough to make our legs go numb. The water was knee deep and everyone was trying not to fall. There were boulders at the bottom that made the river crossing even more challenging.
How are your legs?
Speechless. I can't feel my leg. Feeling cold right now. My trousers are wet.
Oh, they're wet?
We reached Jwara around 1:30 or 2 p.m. and soon it started raining heavily. Jwara is at the altitude of 11,072 feet and the location of the campsite was really beautiful. The flora and fauna there were very different and the bushes forming a blanket of wild flowers was just stunning. Around 5 p.m. in the evening, the rain finally stopped and we found our campsite covered in the mist. It was a really beautiful sight. The next morning was sunny and after going through the 6-7-8 routine, we were off to our trek again. Oh and yeah, we were lucky to get the wet toilets again at the second campsite too. Our next campsite was Balukagera and the distance we had to cover was 5 kilometers. The trail was comparatively easier though. The scenic beauty of the trail was getting better and better after every kilometer. We had a halt at a dhaba and we stumbled upon these meat or bone pieces spread all over. I had no idea whatsoever what it was for, so I thought why not ask the person who is responsible for it.
मटन होता है ना, ये खाने के लिए होता है। हम इसको सुखा के ड्राई कर देते हैं, ये खराब नहीं होता है। जैसे फ्रिज में रहता है, खराब कहाँ से होगा? ड्राई करके इसको बना देंगे अच्छे से, बढ़िया बस खा लेंगे।
बहुत बढ़िया।
As soon as we started closing into our next campsite, the scenic beauty got really gorgeous. The terrain was changing slightly and now it offered us a mix of green and barren mountains. I could not take my eyes off the red flowers all around. The weather was cloudy and very cold.
And that's our trek leader, Nikhil.
Hello.
So yeah, he's actually the backbone behind our trek.
We reached Balukagera at around 1 p.m. and the campsite was located at a beautiful spot. There was a river flowing close by, green meadows on one side and barren and snow-capped mountains on the other. There were a lot of mules grazing the field. Balukagera is at the altitude of 12,411 feet, which makes it the highest campsite on this trek. I spent my evening clicking pictures of the beautiful moments created by the setting sun and recording some stunning moments that you see in this video. The shadows created by the clouds made the landscape look really beautiful. Next morning, I woke up early and saw the sky was clear and the snow-capped mountains were lit by the rising sun rays. Around 8 a.m. as always, we started our trek. Today was a big day as today we would be going to Hamta Pass, which is at the height of 14,035 feet, and it was a pretty big deal. We had to cross 4 mountains to reach Hamta Pass, and there will be a steep descent after that, which will lead us to the valley of Shiagoru, where our next campsite was. The total distance we were supposed to cover was 6.65 kilometers, and it would take around 8 to 9 hours to do that. We had our lunch packed and water bottles filled for the long day.
Alright, so we've done the first mountain and 3 more mountains to go, and this is the view. This is the view towards Balukagera, and this is the view towards Hamta Pass. Everyone is resting right now, and so the mountain in the front, that's what we are going to climb now. Alright guys, so we just finished climbing up the second mountain, and this is the view, and this is the water stream here where we can fill up our water bottles, and this is the last stream which we are going to get now. So guys, this is our trail. Pretty steep and damn rocky. If you toggle one rock, it can fall on the people coming from the back. She is Harsha, that's Signu, that's Shraddha, and many more people.
Finally, after crossing 4 steep mountains, we reached Hamta Pass at around 12 pm. It is at the altitude of 14,053 feet, and it was 1,000 feet higher than my last summit. I was pretty happy and proud of myself. Most importantly, the weather had been really kind. It was sunny and cloudy, but thankfully no rain. We clicked a lot of pictures and had our lunch there. The pass was a narrow stretch of rocky trail. The landscape had changed completely, and we could see that we were in Spiti Valley.
This is the Hamta Pass, and I'm so proud of myself and everyone here. Every one of the trekker, like this girl. Alright guys, so we are leaving from Hamta Pass now, and it's getting very cold, and the descent is quite bad. It's rocky. Right now it's still okay, I would say, but it's gonna go bad a little bit more ahead.
This was our campsite at Shiagoru, and oh my god, I still can't forget its breathtaking beauty. The campsite was such a delight after going through a steep descent from Hamta Pass. Interestingly, we could spot our campsite while descending down the mountain. Once we were off the mountain, we had to walk approximately 1 kilometer in the plains to reach the campsite. It was at such a gorgeous spot. The land was lush green with the river flowing next to it and surrounded by mountains. It was a spectacular sight. We could spot Deotiba and Indrasan glaciers and peaks from there, though the growing mist made it a little difficult for us to get a clear view. The next morning, we were all set to trek to Chatru, where our trek would come to an end. But for that, we had to leave the stunning Shiagoru and on top of that, do a river crossing, a massive one. I was a little nervous because it was really cold and I could totally imagine how freezing the water would be. Anyway, from Chatru, we would go to our next campsite, Dadapul, by cabs.
So I'm all set to cross the river. My pants are up and I've tied my shoes here on my belt. And this is where we cross from. It's said to be a little shallower than that side, which is narrow, because it's narrow and it's a slopey area, so the water will be deep there. This one will be a little shallow, though it's a broad stretch. But yeah, we have to really be fast and we don't have to stop there, stop in between. Otherwise it will be really troublesome. So, I wish all the best to me. Bye-bye, Shiagoru. We'll see you soon. Alright guys, I finally managed to cross this freezing cold water. It was terrible, terrible I must say, because I could not feel my legs and there were so many rocks inside. It was a knee-deep water and you will not be able to feel your legs, you will not be able to move faster and you want to get out of the water so much, and this whole stretch is so wide. God, it was so terrible, but it is adventure. Once I was out of the water, started jumping around, doing bhangra or high knees or whatnot to just warm myself up, and within like 3-4 minutes my legs were fine. All the guys here are actually warming up and now wearing their shoes and socks, and they are preparing themselves for the trek.
The scenic beauty from Shiagoru to Chatru was superbly beautiful. The blanket of red flowers all around and loops of wavy trail looked gorgeous. Soon after almost a couple of hours, we reached a hilltop from where NH 505 was visible, and so was Chatru. From there we had to descend and walk a trail alongside River Chenab. Yo. We truly had a great time covering up the last kilometer when music was by our side. Thanks to Nitin and Raghav. Here, the trek came to an end. We reached the spot where the cabs were waiting to take us to our last campsite, Dadapul, where we were supposed to have our lunch within 10-15 minutes and then leave for Chandratal in these same cabs.
If you want, you can freshen up, eat your lunch, and then we leave to Chandratal. Okay? Is there any hiking or walking? Now, once we reach, it will be like a 10-minute hike from the place where we stopped to Chandratal. Right, so we have to walk or... It's a 10-minute walk.
This was the Dadapul campsite. It was incredibly windy that day. Look at those tents, wow! It was drizzling lightly and it was pretty cold too. Anyway, the location was beautiful. The campsite was surrounded by huge barren mountains typical to Spiti Valley. Just loved it. Soon after lunch, we left for Chandratal, and this is just an example of what the road looked like. Boulders, rocks and water made it one of the most treacherous journeys of my lifetime ever. However, the view was breathtakingly beautiful. I greeted the mountains by saying, "Hey, I'm back and I'm so happy to see you again." We reached Chandratal, the cabs were parked and I was all set to walk down to the lake. I reached the lakeside and oh my god, I see a gorgeous lake with a stunning backdrop. It was windy so the water wasn't still, otherwise we could have got the mirror-like reflection of the clouds above. The Chandratal Lake is at the altitude of 4,290 meters or 14,074 feet. The lake gets the name from its crescent shape. It's popular for its magnificent view of the stars and Milky Way at the night. Sad that I couldn't see anything of that sort. However, I was extremely happy to be there. It was my dream to see the Chandratal Lake and finally it came true. Alas, it was time to bid adieu to the stunning Chandratal Lake. We left for the campsite, had a little celebration after dinner by cutting a cake.
मैं रोटेट कर sorry.
Next morning, we were off to Manali. It was a trek to remember, guys. I saw some amazingly beautiful places and met some wonderful people. This trek was pretty close to my heart and I will always cherish it.
So guys, here comes to the end of my journey. I am leaving from Manali today and I'm going back to my home with beautiful memories from my trek and the beautiful places that I visited. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed the beautiful sights that I showed you, and I'll be back with more travel and trekking videos for you very soon.
So that's it. I'll see you next time in my next video. Bye bye. Mwah.